All right. So, what's up, everybody? Francisco here with good buddies Andrew and Charles. Andrew's back, and
Hey
we are
everybody.
here. Yep. 40th Sports Goofs, and we have a game 7 tonight. So that's exciting. Game 7 of the World Series between the Nationals and the Astros. Um, Gosh, it's so exciting, actually. Really exciting. I didn't think the Nationals would wake up, but apparently they did leave their mojo back in Houston. Um, we have a lot to talk about as far as there's a lot of video game news, sports video game news, thanks to a huge announcement by the NCAA, and I'm sure Andrew has been following that. A
hmm
ton of people have been following that because there's a certain video game that a lot of people want to come back, and there's a very real possibility it will. It will. Um, all right, so and on the video game we have on board is Tecmo Super Baseball. Thought it was very appropriate to have it for tonight, given that we have a Game 7 of the World Series. So I'll be recreating that World Series in front of us. We'll have the Houston Astros versus well, really, we have to put them against the Montreal Expos because this was like back in like '93 or something like that, or '94.
And
All
this
right,
is
guys.
back when the Astros were in the National League.
Right, right.
And this is actually probably was the rainbow uniforms?
The Expos? I think they made
No, no,
have.
no, the Astros.
No, I think this might have been. This might be when they switched to that like navy and gold uniform, like a futuristic '90s look.
The
But
one that I remember.
yeah, yeah, the one that I actually like. Um, okay, so plenty of games on tonight. There's NHL, there's NBA. We have NFL news we can talk about as well, and college football for the next upcoming week. And I'm sure Andrew's got a bunch to say about that since he missed last week, and some wrestling stuff as well from our buddy Charles. So guys,
hmm
I guess we should start with baseball since it's the thing that is coming up now. So Game 7 of the World Series. I don't know how close have you guys been following the series? Now
Pretty closely.
over the weekend we had 3 Sports Goofs what I would say watch streams. First time we're doing that, and we've had some pretty all right numbers for those. So good on everybody for watching that and listen to me babble on about sports. But all right, guys. I mean, how do you guys feel about the series thus far?
I honestly have no clue anymore. Um, I thought, man, the Astros are going to win in 5 or 6. I thought they were going to end the series in. I thought they were going to end the series in 5. Actually, I thought they were going to end it in Washington, and I thought the Astros might take a game, but no, they completely, like you said, they left their mojo in Houston, and I thought, surely they're on the cusp of winning. The Nationals are done, but no, they left. You're right, they did leave their mojo in Houston. They stormed back, and now I honestly don't know what to make of it anymore. Fun fact: this is baseball's 150th anniversary. The World Series, with 2 exceptions, has been played every year since 1903. This is the first time. This is the first time in any playoff, any series, in a 7-game series, where the first 6 games have been won by the away team.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Now, remember the 2001 series between the Yankees and the Diamondbacks? That was won by all home games. The home team won all the home games because the Diamondbacks won the first 2, Then the Yankees won all three in New York, and then the D-backs won the next two in
Which you
01.
imagine is to be expected. That's why having home field advantage is such a desired thing, because you want that advantage in the event of a seventh game, because you kind of assume you're going to have home field advantage, so you have a better likelihood of winning at home. But this has completely flipped it on its head, and it's amazing.
So, what about you, Charles?
To quote the infamous Gwen Stefani, this ish is bananas. BANANANAs. You guys, it's just been very entertaining, especially since last year. I thought we had a very dull World Series, not because the Red Sox won, just because the Dodgers didn't show up. No one expected really Nationals to be here at this point, so that's what really pushes it to a fun limit. The Astros were the best team in the MLB throughout, and they look gassed. This is supposed to be the super awesome team of the super pitchers of Garrett Cole, who didn't look good in the first game out, of Justin Verlander, Mr. Long Ball Excuses because everything's juiced up. Well, buddy, just juice yourself and you'll be fine. Take a page out of my boy Roger Clemens. And then Zach Greinke, who are we going to say it's going to yield some bad investments because he's 35, 36, and you have a big contract to absorb, and because you have already gone there with just Rucudi or whatever his name is. And for the Nationals, here's the thing I got to tell you guys. You know who your game starter or Game 7 starter tonight? Max Scherzer. Hasn't looked good. He's looked injured, but
he is injured.
Christ. He is injured, yes, but Jesus effing Christ, if you could have set up the best storyline for them, is the guy who has been the symbol. I would venture even further than being the face that Bryce Harper was. Max Scherzer was the white whale, and he has been all beyond excellent.
The heterochromatic white whale.
The heterochromatic white whale. And so I just kind of love it. And there's so much controversy last night with the Trey Turner about to stab everybody in the face, and then Martinez about to stab everybody in the face, and then Bregman being extremely disrespectful, because that's some disrespectful. I mean, look, I respect it because I'm a bat flip kind of guy, but you're carrying
the bat.
You know what that reminds me of? You know what that reminded me of? I hope you guys have seen Major League.
Yes.
Oh, gosh darn it! The guy that had the shrine.
Pedro Serrano.
Yes.
When he hit when he hit that curveball home run in the
playoffs
in the pennant game, he carried the bat not just to first base. He took it around the entire. He took it the entire way.
And people kept referencing that last night.
Like, I've never seen anything like that before.
Oh, it was great, man.
It was beautiful, and especially Juan Soto is like, oh yeah, anything you can do, I can do better.
That is the best retaliatory thing. You see, most likely if that were in the regular season, they probably would have thrown a ball straight at Bregman's head. But what better way to retaliate than to do it to them right back? Right?
So I got a question for you guys. Is it me, or did Anthony Rendon look like he was a person who was out of a relationship who gets a text message from their ex at 3 a.m. after he hit that home run? No emotion at all.
I commented on a tweet. I think it was John Boys. I said, "Dude, calm down."
Sarcastically.
I followed you on that one because I saw perfect timing. So it's relevant all things today, Andrew. You opened the door, but let's be honest here. He looks like a Joseph Lover because he's up for a payday. Someone's going to pay him out. You just hit a World Series home run that kept your team alive, bruh.
I think he was. I think it might have been more of a page out of Damian Lillard's book. Damian Lillard hit that big shot right there at the end of the series. I think that's pretty much the same thing. Hey, go in there with some attitude.
Ice in his veins.
Yes, exactly.
But I don't know about you guys, but it's it really feels like the tides have turned, and now I feel like I'm watching a superhero movie, and the great villain as the Astros are about to get the comeuppance. And watch what happens as Max Scherzer lays up like 8 home runs in the first inning, and then I just go cry in the corner.
I really hope. I thought the Nationals were going to win the series, like Andrew said, like in 5 or something. Like that, man. They have 3.
No,
home games.
I thought the Nationals were going to win in 5.
No, that's that's what I meant. Sorry. I thought the Nats would win in 5 after they, freaking punched the Astros in the mouth the first 2 games, and then they proceeded to poop the bed at home. So I thought, okay, for sure the Astros have all the momentum heading into the game, and then Justin Verlander started the game, and I guess that deflated all doubt there. They couldn't use Garrett Cole all over again. That would have been weird and awful.
So who is the Astros starter for tonight? Greinke?
So tonight, Game 7 of the World Series between the Astros and it's Greinke. Greinke versus Scherzer.
He hasn't really been that good in my opinion throughout the playoffs, aside from
Okay. Yeah, he's got let's see. So far this postseason, Zach Greinke is 0-2, 5.30 ERA, 18 innings pitched, 22 strikeouts. Yeah, he has not had his postseason resume isn't even that good. Whereas Scherzer so far 3-0, 2.16 ERA, 25 innings pitched, and he's had his postseason record is on the plus side as at the very least. But yeah.
I mean, who comes out the hero? Or is it that both guys just are too fatigued?
That's what I wanted to ask. I mean, who's going to get the World Series MVP here? Now,
I feel like
if the Nationals were to win, who would it be?
I had the name.
Juan Soto?
Maybe. I mean, especially if he has a big Game 7, because he already had a big Game 1. He had a big Game 6 so far, and so far this series. Hold on, let me look at their lineup. So far in this series, if I can actually get it to pop up here. Trying to get the preview. There we go. So Juan
I really
Soto,
think it might end up going to a pitcher.
So Juan Soto, so far in the postseason, he's hit 62. He's got 5 home runs, and some of them have already been here in this World Series. If it were to be a pitcher, I mean, Garrett Cole lost the first game that he pitched, but then he pitched a brilliant Game 5. Really brilliant Game 5. I mean, if anything, that earned him that whatever gigantic payday contract he's going to get in the offseason.
I mean, if Scherzer wins tonight, I think he gets it because he had a very good first start, and he's been pretty unstoppable this entire postseason.
If he can go 6-7 innings and hold the Astros to, or at the very
might
least,
even be
hold
Strasburg. Now that I think about it,
yeah, Strasburg has been consistent.
Actually,
Strasburg has been amazing this whole postseason, and last night was ridiculous. He went 8 1/3 innings.
Yeah, completely saving their bullpen, saving everything. I mean, they had Scherzer warming up last night.
Yeah,
at some point.
That's clutch. what he did kind of reminds me a bit of different circumstance, but Josh Beckett back in completely different circumstance. But because he was on short rest, but he saved the bullpen, which is great. I don't know. It'll be tough. I think the Nationals have a lot. If the Astros win, it's Bregman. Period. End of story.
Yeah. He's had a pretty good postseason. Oh, and guys, by the way, we've sold out. Sports Goofs is sponsored by the Astro Gaming A40 TR headsets. I found a sponsor.
Aw, yeah, baby.
Yeah, so we're collecting the pennies, and I think it literally might be pennies. But we have sold out, so Sports Goofs has sold out. I don't know how an actual legit spot. Yeah, we actually have legit sponsorship now. That's why our Sports Goofs chat is now sponsored. That's why you can look on the screen there, and we have we're all gamers here, and we enjoy gaming. You know, Charles and Andrew have a PS4, I have a Nintendo Switch. We all have PCs, and we have a Sega Genesis game on screen here. So we are gamers, and what better way to celebrate this postseason is to have a nice gaming headset and trash talk your opponents, right? Okay.
And let me just be clear, though. This doesn't mean that our that word from non-sponsors is going anywhere, because we still have plenty of non-sponsors.
Yeah, exactly. Listen to our goofy debauchery. Exactly. All right. Sorry, I cut you off there, Andrew. I'm sorry.
No worries. Lawyers have no souls.
Oh no. I've been dead for quite a while on the inside.
Mm-hmm. That's another story. I actually have 2 non-sponsors tonight, now that I think about it.
Ooh. Oh, okay. Well, you've had 2 weeks to have them, so yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Quick question: should pitchers even be considered for MVP?
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I think so.
Let me put my
World
2
Series
cents.
MVP? Yeah.
Yes. All right, so let me put my 2 cents on this. A couple of years ago, who was it that got both the Cy Young and the MVP? Was it Verlander or was it Clayton Kershaw?
Kershaw.
Probably Kershaw.
Right?
He's not getting World Series MVP, that's for sure.
No, I was against it throughout a duration of the series because at the most as a pitcher throughout the season, you're getting 30 games compared to the 160 something that's out there. You come into a World Series, I take a little bit of the product of how good you are in all the other parts of the playoffs. Yes, we understand that there's the ALCS MVP and then the NLCS MVP, but guess what? Someone's going to be a runner-up to that, and that doesn't matter because not both sides can win. So take what you want with that. Mm-hmm. But when I get to the World Series stuff, when I actually see lights-out pitching, and it's been rare, I feel, for the last couple of World Series, I haven't seen like a starter kind of like blow my mind because usually they're gassed or they're on short inning rest. Like you mentioned, Strasburg going the 8th. Some people wouldn't do that. Granted, that's a testament to how fatigued the Nationals bullpen or their selection of starters are. So it's one of those things where I'm okay with it because if it's 7 games, you might see them at 3 appearances, 2 full starts, and possibly a bullpen thing, and they do their job. All right, we got something going on here.
Okay, so let me look back at the history of the World Series MVPs. So let's see, the last pitcher to win it was, was Madison Bumgarner in 2014. Remember, he pitched a brilliant World Series, and of course, that Game 7 against the Royals.
I think he pitched 3 games that series.
Yeah, he went 2-0, and he also he got that save. Remember, at the end of Game 7.
Right. So that's big. Like that totally deserves.
So you could say he was responsible for 3 victories right there and then.
Yep.
Let's see. The next pitcher after that was Cole Hamels in 2008. He had a 1-0 record, two games started against the Rays, and 4 earned runs over 13 innings and 8 strikeouts. Maybe not the flashiest of numbers, but of course the series ended in 5.
So really, the Phillies couldn't find anybody better but that for pitching? Because you just went from Madison Bumgarner, which it makes sense because he actually contributed.
Well, remember, Cole Hamels was really good back then. He was their ace.
He was.
But the series, I mean, gosh, I don't even really remember that series between the Rays and the Phillies. It was over so fast, too.
I think we have somebody who does.
Then Josh Beckett in 2003, he went 1-1. He lost the first game against the Yankees, but then he pitched a complete game shutout at Yankee Stadium.
I remember no such thing, Francisco. That thing never happened.
I perfectly remember that game. And then prior to that was the I think there was the co-World Series MVPs between Curt Schilling and Randy Johnson in 2001.
The above statement.
Yeah. So I think Charles keeps having amnesia because I keep recalling that. And then in 1999, Mariano Rivera won the World Series MVP because he recorded 2 saves in that World Series and pitched 4 2/3 scoreless innings. So, and then Livan Hernandez, prior to that, he won 2 games in that series against the Indians. And John Wetland won for the Yankees in '96. So, actually, in the '90s, there were a lot of pitchers that won the World Series. Like, for example, Jack Morris, 1991. He pitched that 10-inning shutout in Game 7. I mean, that's completely worthy of a World Series MVP. If anything, pitchers should be worthy of it because they affect the game more than anybody. Really, the game is literally in their hands.
But what about a season, Francisco?
Well, the season. I don't know. I think it's kind of like. I think it should be separate. I think they should be separate. It's like kind of in hockey. The hockey has the Art Ross, which is kind of like the MVP for NHL, and then they've got the Vezina Trophy, which is just 4 goaltenders. And I can't imagine a goaltender winning the Art Ross Trophy unless he wins like 50 games by himself or something like that, and his team is completely awful and he had shutouts up the wazoo. But a pitcher, I mean the last example was Clayton Kershaw. So yeah. I don't know, it's like it's kind of like it's kind of hindsight is 2020. So you see Clayton Kershaw is like, yeah, he had a great regular season, but I think the Dodgers would have been fine if you didn't have a Kershaw caliber pitcher on the team. They probably maybe win half of the starts that an average pitcher would have if in Kershaw's place, but they probably still make the playoffs in that sense. I don't know. I can't see. I really don't like that a pitcher can win an MVP unless they have the most exceptional of circumstances, 300 strikeouts, 20 and something record, and 1 point something ERA, kind of like when like a John Gibson type of season, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me.
All right.
I will say though, like I said, I can't quite I can't give a definitive answer on who I think who would win if it was with the Nationals. But if it's the Astros, it's got to be Bregman.
He's had a good series, and he's had some. He's come up big in spots.
By the way, one other thing I want to mention. I truly, deep down, think that they brought back the juice baseballs for the World Series.
I mean, there's a lot of the games have been lopsided. Well, it's not that they've been lopsided; it's that eventually they became lopsided.
Right, but also, like, look at the first two rounds, 3 rounds if you include the wild card play-in. There were not that many home runs, and as a matter of fact, everyone was saying that sure home runs in the regular season were coming up short. Now it's like home runs are just getting launched out of the yard. I think Bregman's had 2 major home runs. He had that grand slam. He's had 2 solo shots. I think he's had like 3 or 4 home runs in this series. Rendon, Soto, like they're just home runs are just coming out of nowhere, and I think it's.
So he's had 3 in this series so far.
Bregman?
Yeah, he's had 3 in this series so far. Soto's got 3 also in this series.
So, like, look at that. That's 6 home runs between 2 players, and I legitimately think there were series in the wild card.
Last night there were 4 home runs hit. Now, of course, you can also say that's virtue of the fact that they went back to Houston, which is a hitter's park. It's a bandbox.
Right, but I think.
But there were 4 home runs in Game 5, and that was in D.C.
I think there were. I really think there were some. The wild card LDS, LCS. I really think there were series that had fewer than 6 home runs in them, and you have 6 home runs between 2 guys.
Yeah.
So it's either, I don't know, but I really do think something is different.
And I'm just I guess playing devil's advocate as well, just to have just to say take the opposing side. Also, the fact that when they were playing in DC, remember it's colder up there, and the ball actually travels better. And the baseball composition changes when in the cold, so they actually fly a lot more because of that. But just playing devil's advocate as well as for maybe as to, I mean, it still doesn't explain how the Nationals only scored 3 runs in their 3 home games. They were outscored 19-3. So I don't think if they were using juiced balls, they were only using them for half of an inning each inning. Okay, so guys, I guess a prediction. Who do you think for tonight? World Series. I'm going Nationals.
Nationals.
Okay.
Just because I want to believe, Francisco.
And yeah, of course, you're still salty about the Astros beating your Yanks.
Pretty much.
And I guess Andrew, maybe are you salty about the Astros beating the Rays? Because they
Not
took
at
out
all.
both your teams.
Because we lose to the winner, right? That's the mindset.
Well, first off, I just want to say that Roger Clemens in the game here just threw 109 miles per hour.
Well, it's he was on steroids, so
Yeah. I mean, he's juiced up. Juice Clemens. No, that was a terrible pun. That was awful. Nah, I'm not salty. And if anything, I'm proud and happy of how the team played, because they were dead to rights. Everyone thought, oh, they've got no shot. But here they are taking a team that is 1 win away from the World Series to the brink. And I think they would have had a legitimate shot if, I forget his name, but if our pitcher wasn't tipping pitches, I think we would have been closer, if not winning. So, but it shows that we've got a good core set, and I think we have a good chance of down.
Okay, hold on. You're cutting off, Andrew, so give me a second. So are you making your predictions, or are you going Nats or Astros?
Baby shark doo 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 doo.
Okay,
Baby shark doo doo.
Okay, so Nationals.
I'm going Nats, baby.
Okay, so we're
what's your
all
reason?
Nats on this side. So, all right. Either way, spring training in West Palm Beach is going to be fun. Okay.
I would
So-
legitimately buy tickets to the first game, the game the two of them play each other.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a big ticket game for sure.
Well, I mean, the Astros brought the World Series trophy over and all that stuff when they opened spring training. So, and put up their giant logo for their championship there. So I guess we'll see what happens on the other side. All right. I guess other MLB news, since we're on it right now. So, okay, so the Oakland A's are proposing to buy the Oakland Coliseum site. There's still rumblings that there's a suburb in Vegas that is trying to lure the Oakland A's on over along with the Raiders. So there's a possibility, but I don't know, guys. Do you think baseball would be different without the A's in Oakland, right? I feel like it would be.
I think so.
I think it'd be sad.
Yeah. At the present moment, too, because they're actually a successful franchise the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
You don't want to have a winning team kind of move around because that just screams a fire sale. I think that's something that Andrew should be concerned with, too, with the rumors about Tampa being relocated to Montreal. Assumingly Montreal comes in, because there's actually good quality players there. And the idea is, okay, do we want to bring in a nice little shine to the city, or do we just want to start out with the farm system in some decent priced veterans and say, all right, new year, new me kind of mindset.
Yeah, I mean, and this kind of rolls over into my entire discussion of Oakland. So, and NBA news really, because the Golden State Warriors opened their new arena out in San Francisco, the Chase Center, and well, things have changed. The things have changed. The crowd in San Francisco is different from the crowd in Oakland, and there are issues because the prices are higher. And really, if you guys haven't been to San Francisco, or at least not been there lately, everything is expensive there. Mm-hmm. Everything. I mean, I went there once already, and I'm like, how do you all live? How's it? Gosh, I was almost going homeless just by being there for a day. So the fan base is different. And the players on the Warriors know it too. And even though it's just over the bridge. It's like half an hour away over the bridge. But the crowds aren't as passionate compared to Oakland. The prices are scaring away the common man. And really, I think the Warriors are kind of turning into I think their arena is going to be kind of like what the Toronto Maple Leafs have in a sense. Like the Maple Leafs for many years has been their games are super expensive to attend, and just have corporate seats and things like that. I don't know. It seems like the upper middle class or upper class don't seem to be as passionate about sports as the rest of us peasants down here. So I mean, was it good that the Warriors left instead of sticking around in Oakland, or is it, greener pastures in San Francisco?
I think I don't like it. You guys know me. I'm very anti the way that sports teams are going right now. Mm-hmm. What with, sorry, I can't think right now. All these teams that are essentially holding cities hostage to pay up for these new stadiums and whatnot. I don't like it personally. I get it. You need money, and attendance is down, at least in college football, and I assume in baseball too, it's way down. Really, all the major sports attendance appears to be down. So you need to make up the difference somehow. But I don't know. I don't like it. I don't like pricing out the real fans, if you will.
All right, Charles, you're a man of the people.
I'm also a man of business, Francisco. That's been a running theme I feel has come into my life. And, here's the thing. It's not as if Golden State has been a terrible team like the Raiders, who basically held up the city of Oakland hostage for a better deal in Nevada on the belief that more fans and infrastructure. They built a team to root for. I don't know how far it is to go from the Bay to Chase Center. Of course, you're going to have differences of it. The price gauge that's coming in on why it might be so expensive is not to the plight of the people. It's the plight of the idea that a year from now, the team is going to be back into at least a third or fourth seed title contention with D'Angelo Russell, Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and then if Draymond's still there and he has been moved. So my thought process as a businessman is, if the going's good now, or will be then, keep it good now, because you still have a star player in Steph Curry, a face of the NBA franchise on that team. You have some kind of establishment. Guys, you also got to remember, it's the first year. You're going to want to yield as much money as you can, because who knows, and I sound like an old generic white person, but in today's economy, you don't know what the next couple of years is going to bring to, right? So go ahead, do it. It sucks that expensive, but here's the thing, to bring up to Francisco's point, maybe higher class people don't like going to games so much, or maybe it's basketball and there's 88 games in the regular season, so they can just pick and choose what's come into it. But I don't frequent San Francisco. I haven't gone there. I can't speak to it. But if I'm a businessman that says, hey, we just spent this money to just advertise, do zoning structure, all this other stuff, and we got half and half, guess what? We're going to try to maximize the deal. It's not as if we're the Cleveland Cavaliers and the best highlight that we have to present to you to justify our expensive stadium or expensive seats and cities and whatnot is a busted up Kevin Love who doesn't want to be there, and then a Colin Sexton who is just really not that good, and then a James Garland, I think, or a Garland, I forgot his first name, that we drafted, and then, the former Michigan coach. It's a different ilk. It's still a business, because you know what happens if the business is not good? Not now, not 2 years from now, but if you can't get people to come in or you can't keep a thriving franchise, then they're going to be out of a stadium. Or they might even have something worse. They might not be no longer an NBA franchise, such as the Seattle Supersonics, because that team was successful in spurts, and now it's gone the way of the dodo.
If anything, though, I think it's kind of sad, but it really is. It was probably the way to, if anything, to maximize the success of the Warriors, really, because now they're going to have a perpetual, really good revenue stream in San Francisco compared to what they would have had in Oakland. They were, because remember how the Warriors built their team. It was through the draft, but not in the sense of the way the 76ers have built their team through tanking. No, it was actually the Warriors built it pretty naturally. And so they capitalized. They had a dynasty, and now they were able to capitalize and get a stadium like many other teams have been able to do. When they have success, they're able to, coax everybody into thinking, yeah, okay, let's build an arena. It's happened here in Miami. It's happened in other places where the team. It happened in Seattle. It's what saved the Mariners. That '95 run built the T-Mobile Stadium or field or whatever it's called now. Good on the Warriors for capitalizing, but it is kind of sad that it's happening that way. And maybe, I don't know. I mean, heck, even the 49ers don't even play in San Francisco anymore. They play like in San Jose, closer to that than anything else.
Santa Clara.
Santa Clara, but it's still like closer to San Jose than San Francisco. And I mean, it's sad for Oakland because it's kind of like a blue collar town. And we're getting less of that in sports as far as like places and things, but
that's what makes me sad is, you've got these teams like the Green Bay Packers where they are literally owned by the people.
Right.
They're the only pro sports team like that, but still, even outside of them, blue collar teams, the Yinzers, the team is named, the Steelers are named after the main industry in the South.
And it's kind of funny that the Warriors did that because the NBA is full of teams and cities that don't have any other teams. San Antonio, Salt Lake City, Portland. So the NBA has been actually a pretty good supporter of the underdog city, if you will, and it's kind of funny that they've left an underdog city for something more lucrative in that sense. Even though the Warriors didn't leave very far, they just left across the bridge, and it's not that far, but it's still culturally, I guess, the ambiance really is different now. But I don't know, maybe I guess. Maybe like Charles said, it's the first year. They're still filling things out. The new crowd is maybe there's new fans of basketball now, and they just don't know. Okay, but yeah, it's Oakland's lost every team, and now the A's are the only ones left, and they might lose them as well unless they can pull off this selling of the Coliseum site. And I'm assuming if they do that, the A's will tear down the Oracle Arena next door and build their new ballpark right there. Okay. All right. So that's all of, I guess, baseball talk. We talked some relocation things and like that. We're at the 40-minute mark. You guys mind if I do one of our smaller segments?
Absolutely.
By all means.
Okay, so let's go to one of the ones I really like. Better know a minor league team. So this is where we give notice about minor league teams. There's about 4 billion of them, and sometimes we want to figure out what they're all about. So a treat for Andrew since he's returned today. Today's minor league team is the Orlando Solar Bears.
Woohoo!
Okay, Andrew. Yeah, I was thinking of you when I did this.
Thank you.
So the Orlando Solar Bears, they are based in Andrew.
The City Beautiful, Orlando, Florida.
Orlando, Florida. They play at
The Amway Center.
which was built in. Come on.
2010.
Yes, you're good. You're good. All right. 2010. The Solar Bears were established in 2012. They play.
However, side note, this
and
isn't the first time they've been the Solar Bears.
and I will get to that very, very soon. Don't you worry, good sir.
Sorry.
They play
I'm
in the
excited.
ECHL, no longer considered the East Coast Hockey League. It's just the ECHL. It doesn't mean anything anymore. They are the affiliate of.
My favorite NHL team, the Tampa Bay Lightning,
Yes, the Tampa Bay Lightning, and
who I'm watching right now. It's 2-1 over the New Jersey Devils right now.
And the Devils have had an awful start to the season. The Syracuse Crunch are the AHL affiliates of the Solar Bears. The Solar Bears were formerly the affiliates for the
Maple
Minnesota.
Leafs.
Yeah, the Leafs before that, and then originally the Minnesota Wild. This version of the Solar Bears does not have a championship yet. They opened in 2012. They play at the Amway Center, which they share with
The Magic.
the Orlando Magic
and
of the NBA.
used to be the Orlando Predators.
Of
Actually, I think the Predators are back there now.
the Arena Football League, and it holds about 17,354 for hockey. They play in the Eastern Conference South Division, and funny thing, well, not funny thing, but really, the Solar Bears are owned by the same ownership that the Magic are owned by, and they have. And the other thing that you were mentioning is that the Solar Bears name comes from the IHL franchise that used to be in Orlando, which was the Solar Bears. And they were back in, I think, like 97 or 95 until like 2001.
I think 01 was their last year.
Yeah, 2001 when they was the last season for them. The IHL team, this ownership owned that IHL team, so that's why they brought back the Solar Bears name. They won one championship. They won one Turner Cup, which was the championship for the IHL back then. And this is the third professional hockey team in Orlando. Prior to the Solar Bears, this version of the Solar Bears at least, we had the Orlando Seals, who
I went to a couple of their games.
really.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, and
They used to be the Orlando Seals. Then they got kicked out of their lease at the Arena, the TD Waterhouse Center.
Mhm.
And then they moved down to the Silver Spurs Arena, which is a smaller arena down in Kissimmee, where
Yeah,
they became the Florida Seals.
Oh, you are good, dude. I had that written down, and I didn't even have to. Yeah, they became the Florida Seals, and then I think they finally. It was a real big issue with the Seals is that they couldn't pay their rent. They couldn't pay the rent to their players, and then finally the Southern Professional Hockey League, which is what they were a part of, just dissolved the franchise because they had so many issues. So,
A lot of teams, same issue with the original Orlando Predators. They got kicked out of their lease at the Amway Center.
Amway Arena back then.
No, back when it was the Amway Center. Their more recent stint at the Amway Center.
This Amway Center, the new one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They got kicked out, so they had to use UCF's arena for a couple of seasons.
Okay. So yeah, that's our that's our little trip down the hockey history of the city of Orlando. All right, guys. So that's better know a minor league team. Okay, so I want to get to another one of our segments here, and that is Gottlieb's Goons. All right, guys. So, do you guys have any goons? Anybody in the world of sports that has just been a real stick in the mud, a real bad guy over the last week or week and a half or 2 weeks, really?
Well, I think the one that we've talked about for the last couple of days or so is definitely going to be the highlight that all three of us can say, "Hey, you straight up goon, pal."
Mm-hmm.
And that's Brennan Topman, the former assistant GM to the Houston Astros, the current wannabe winners of the World Series. But you know what? The baseball gods, they don't like domestic violence. So they're going to make sure they put a little extra juice in the balls of Zach Greinke. See that? He had launched out because of like, Brandon Topman, the guy sounds like a complete D-bag of a name anyway. He's a guy Lagoon.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I guess for the backstory is that during the off season they signed Osuna, a closer who had domestic violence issues last season with the Blue Jays, suspended for 75 games. So I guess this is a little bit personal to me, you guys, because it's kind of what I practice in my legal field. So I'm gonna kind of bring it in a little hard here. So tell me when you say Charles, too much here. But allegedly, because everything is an allegation until proven true, right? Allegedly, after the ALCS,
there are no laws in Sports Goofs.
That's even better. So Topman's coming around after the ALCS, and it said that he looked at a group of women and said, "Thank God for Osuna." Directly at the women, one of them wearing a sign because October's domestic violence awareness month. Wear your purple. I know there's a little bit of everything. I do pink. I do this. Wear some purple. You look manly, guys. Go do it. It's great. I wear purple. I'm gonna wear purple tomorrow. But he says that, and people were, oh, was he saying it just like, hey, oh my gosh, so great that we have this guy to help us win a championship in the AL and then going into the World Series? Nah, he could sound like a complete D-bag, purposely putting in there. And the first thing that came to my mind was, nah, you can't be that stupid to pinpoint a group of women on your personal opinion of whether or not you feel that this guy is this or that. But you can't. You got to be dense. You're an assistant GM. You basically are the Gimp from Pulp Fiction. Your mouth's supposed to be shut up, buddy. You're coming in with the letter smash. You're supposed to say yes or no, sir. Those are the only two things that you say. So the Astros are reviewing it, and what do we know about domestic violence? All sports, except for Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, do not like domestic violence. Roger Goodell does, but that's a different story for a different day, gentlemen. BU being tweet having signed us in the first place, and executive, I don't understand how neutrals can be possibly. Thank you. I can support that idea, BU. But so the idea, he's saying that, and then the Astros did their due diligence, and they investigated. They found out that what kind of makes no sense of why a guy would out of nowhere shout at a crowd, maybe it was a misinterpretation, was exactly how it was portrayed to be. And for that, Brandon Topman, as you're making me my latte at Starbucks in the future, or if I see you at Wendy's, hint, maybe that's a non-sponsor, or Pollo Tropical, making me my smoothie or quesadilla salad, I want you to know personally, sir, you are a godly goon on my end, and probably be used and everybody in America. And then some.
Honestly, okay, good on the Astros for finally not standing behind him, doing the right thing and fire. I mean, he's an assistant GM. He's whatever. You could throw him in the trash if you want to. Okay. I actually floated the question as to what if the Astros win the World Series? Does this guy get a ring? Because I don't think he deserves to get it. In that case, I think it would be a PR kind of like a very bad public relations job if they handed this guy a ring. I don't know if he was there with the Astros for 2017. They could just be like, listen, dude, you already got your ring. We're not going to give you another one. Sorry. You kind of you gave us some bad juju because of it, and we lost the first 2 games. We fired you. Your sacrifice allowed us to win 3 games in D.C. Yeah, it is up to the organization who gets a ring. That's right. They they hand them to whoever. But I don't know. I think people might focus on it if the Astros do win tonight. It would be a serious question as to does this guy get a World Series ring? Yeah, he's an assistant. Once again, assistant GM, assistant to the regional manager. I don't know. He's not the GM. The real GM here, so I could see the Astros not giving him a ring. He already got paid. He can get some recognition and all that stuff, but he's not around the organization anymore. So, I don't know.
They could give it to him.
I would think it would be smart if the Astros didn't give him a ring. All right, he already packed his bag. He's out, and he's a douche. He's a douche. Why give a ring to a douche? Anyways.
Well, there's plenty, Francisco. There's plenty of players, GMs, coaches, owners.
I know, even though, and Ozuna and stuff like that. But I mean, this guy was a public douche at the very least. So that I don't know. From a PR perspective, I'm looking at it that way. I wouldn't give him a ring. So, but either way, he's a goon. That's my thoughts.
Complete.
I think he's the gooniest goon so far.
So far, yes. So far, yes. Okay.
Because he's a goon with a wrong agenda, gentlemen.
Mm. Okay. Any more to say about this POS?
No, I'm good.
Yeah, not too much. Not too much there. Let Doug Gottlieb talk about this guy all he wants on his very bad show. Okay, so we are at the 52-minute mark. Let's get another one of these smaller segments out of the way. Let's see. Which one can we do here? How about players we remember to forget? All right. So, much like the movie Coco, we have to remember bad to mediocre sports players, because if we do forget them, they disappear to time and space. So my player to remember to forget, and I guess in light of the World Series, is a man named David Weathers. Maybe the name rings a bell for you guys?
Nope.
Not sure?
A little bit.
A little bit, right? Okay, David Weathers. He was a pitcher. He pitched for the Toronto Blue Jays, the Florida Marlins, the New York Yankees.
I remember.
Yeah, the New York Yankees, the Cleveland Indians. He pitched twice for the Cincinnati Reds, twice for the Milwaukee Brewers, once for the Chicago Cubs, the New York Mets, and the Houston Astros. He won the World Series in 1996 with Charles's New York Yankees, but he never pitched in another postseason after that because he was with a bunch of mediocre franchises. He made his major league debut with the Toronto Blue Jays, moved on and was part of the the expansion draft and was drafted to the Marlins, and then the Marlins traded him to the Yankees in '96, and he helped in that postseason. Let's see. His son recently was drafted by the San Diego Padres in 2018. So that's how. Let's see. That's how old he. How old is this guy now? He's 6'3". He's 50 years old now, and he was originally drafted by the Blue Jays out of high school. Actually, no, out of Montvale State Community College in Tennessee. So, Lawrenceburg, Tennessee, and he was a right-handed pitcher. So that's David Weathers. Not the most, nothing flashy about him, really. He pitched up until 2009. So he pitched from 91 to 2009. That's a long time in Major League Baseball, almost 20 years. So, I don't know. You guys don't remember him? He's probably in this video game right now, this Sega Genesis game. But
I don't really remember him contributing much in '96.
Let's say 96.
Like,
let's see, 1996. Let's look at his postseason numbers. Postseason pitching, 96. He went 2-0. He got a victory against the Rangers and the Orioles in the ALCS. Let's see, he had a 3 ERA overall. Pitched in 7 games. and 11 innings, allowed 6 hits, 8 strikeouts, and pitched in 3 games against the Braves in that World Series. So there you go.
We thank you for your service, David Weathers.
So we remembered you, so you can rest easy, David Weathers. And once again, everybody, we have sold out. Get your Astro Gaming A40TR headsets so that we don't end up in the poorhouse. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. So far we're at the 56-minute mark. Guys, do you have anything else to say? Because we're close to that halfway mark to get to our non-sponsors soon.
I will give you a player I remember to forget.
Oh, okay.
Myself to kind of bring in, because here's the thing, ladies and gentlemen of the Sports Goof era universe, we'll say it like that. We plan, but then we're fluid, and I'm very fluid to the small topics like we have. But I always have a backup and the players who never forget. It's like you're going out to eat and you're gonna eat something with onions, and I bring up my Tic Tacs to take care of you. And I've been sitting on this guy for a while. And it kind of popped up to me because I was watching the immortal Frank Gore. The Inconvenient Truth just still play. It's amazing to me.
Yes.
Last week with the Dolphins, I'm like, man, how many guys were drafted when he was in San Francisco, Indianapolis, and elsewhere to be the guy that was so supposed to supplant Frank Gore? And the name that came to me was a certain man who had some potential coming out of the third round 2009 draft, but found a different calling in his life when, certain things came into it. And that's Glenn Coffey, a former University of Alabama football player, put on some numbers there, taken the third round, respectable. This was, around the time where, all right, Frank was probably a spry 34-year-old in 2009. Now he's like 67, and he's still killing it. The man could just keep playing for days. You thought Tom Brady is playing for 20 years? Frank's going to play for 30 at a position that's more demanding than every time you get hit in touch, you make a face and a flag's called on you for roughing the passer. Glenn Coffey himself played 1 year with the San Francisco 49ers, and then after attending OTA minicamp for Wikipedia, he abruptly announced his retirement right before the 2010 season. Mike Singletary probably contributed to that because Mike Singletary kind of made a lot of people want to quit, despite what they say. They also end up having to get Brian Westbrook, who deserved a better ending than that. But Coffey's whole thing was to go back to school, get his degree, go to graduate school. As he retired, his heart was never in the place, and he felt that God wanted to take another path. But there's an irony to this. He went to the military to serve. He was there for about U.S. Army from 2013 2017. Remember, it's Wikipedia. It's not the most reliable source, except when nerdy people like to edit.
I mean, it says here on his Pro Football Reference site, he was he's 32 years old. Yeah, he's my age. He went to Fort Walton Beach High School in Florida, and he was actually born in Eglin Air Force Base here in Florida.
And the further, he did apply for reinstatement in 2017, but what do we know is that if you're out of the league as a running back for probably more than 3 weeks, you're dead to them. But
he can join the XFL.
Maybe he can join the XFL, ladies and gentlemen. It's the real true alternative to National Football League, because you want to know what? It's going to be something to whet your appetite, unlike the AAF, which is dead, gone, never to be resurrected again. They ain't going to be this, but Vince McMahon is going to have people who are husband and wife. So they're going to have cuckold storylines to be great. That's a spoiler coming future and soon. Stay tuned to watch out as we hit the half-minute mark.
Okay.
Bam. Brought to you by Astro headsets.
Okay, guys. So, all right. So we are coming up on the 1 hour mark. So, sellout alert, sellout alert. Yes, yes, indeed. Okay, guys. We're heading for a word from our non-sponsors. We like people, places, things, concepts, what have you, and we shout about it every midway point of our show. So, Andrew said he had two. So I guess, Andrew, we can have you bookend the segment today. You can start with your first one, then me and Charles will go, and then we can end with your second one. So whenever you're ready, dude.
So my first non-sponsor is Trey Turner.
Ooh. Okay. All right.
For anyone that doesn't know, Trey Turner is a player for the Washington Nationals. good player for the Washington Nationals, and he stole a base in Game 1 of the World Series. Thanks to him stealing a base, I got a free taco today from Taco Bell.
Damn right.
So
Yes.
thank you, Trey Turner, for on behalf of the millions of people that received free tacos today because of your speed and elusiveness.
Okay. Which flavor of the Doritos Locos Taco did you get?
I actually just got a plain taco.
You got a plain one. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I tried a quesarito today. It is way too spicy for me, so never again.
Oh gosh. Okay. It's still October. Oh no, it's too late, right? It's too late to do it now.
With a shield level annuity from Bright
it was
House
between
Finance.
2 p.m. and gosh darn it, this ad is playing. Turn that off. It was between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m. So if you're
right, but if you order online, it's all day.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Anytime using the app. Okay, so if I wanted to after the show, I could get one.
That is true.
Okay, and if you're, let's say, you still have a chance if you're in the, actually the West Coast, if you're in Pacific time or in Hawaii or Alaska, you can still get yours. Okay, so Trey Turner, thank you for stealing a base and giving us tacos. So that's Andrew's first non-sponsor. Who wants to go next? You want to go up, Charles, or what have you? You there, boy? You there? Yeah?
I'll go.
Okay.
I'll go. Can you hear me? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah? You ready? You ready? We'll do this. All right. There's so much going on, ladies and gentlemen, the guys of the Sports Goof world, that I can think about what to do the sponsorship on. I don't even know half the time. Too many things are happening, so I'm just going to congeal it to a theme, because it's spooky season, but tomorrow's Halloween. And what's tomorrow mean? I get to buy the good bag of candy to eat myself, and then give the kids the crappy candy that I always buy, such as Dum Dums and then the terrible blow gums. So, it's usually I go for the food or I go for a particular situation, but I'm just the same. My non-sponsor week, Halloween, man, because so much is happening tomorrow. People that get dressed up at work, not me. People get to dress up after school, the kids. I get to buy candy last minute, Airheads, Starburst, Skittles. Then I get to get chocolate, which I may or may not be allergic to. I don't know. I ate a chocolate donut today. I'm okay, but my body's been weird. We'll talk about that in a future show, maybe. I don't know. Let's have fun with it. But then I get to eat, the Snickers, which are okay, but we get Milky Ways, and then we got Butterfingers, because no one lays a finger on my Butterfingers. I really wish they brought back Butterfinger BBs. Those were awesome. And then I'm a Airheads. Oh, God. Yes, please. I work at a DV shelter, you guys. You know how much candy is coming from the food banks post-Halloween? So much that my dentist is going to have to just remove my teeth and put, just chiclets until they get replacement veneers and everything else in there. And, of course, tomorrow, for Francisco's sake and for my sake, Luigi's Mansion 3 also comes out. And we're going to be on ABC Freeform seeing all the movies. I've seen my fill of the Halloween movies, but I can always do for more. I'll be in Boca tomorrow trying to teach myself Spanish, but spooky season upon us. Halloween! Get your scares on. Get your sweets on. Get your fun costume on. This is the time of the year where you can take that weird little furry costume out of the closet and wear it, and no one would know anything better. Let's have fun with it. Spooky season. Promo code for Halloween, Spooktacular. Maybe not PC proper, but who knows? I'm not there yet.
Oh, alrighty. Spooky season, everybody.
While I have it, I should do a promo code. I suppose.
Go ahead, dude. Promo code for Trey Turner.
Promo code for Trey Turner.
Ejection.
Sorry, I was trying to think of
terrific.
I was trying to think of a clever
terrific
one, but I can't.
The terrific Trey Turner?
Taco Tray.
Taco Tray. Yeah, I'll go with that. Taco Tray.
You can do a lot of alliteration with Trey Turner.
That's true.
Okay. All right, guys. So I've had a good while to think about it, and my non-sponsor today is FIU College of Law.
Nice.
And
take that back.
The reason I say that is Over the course of this month, I've made a large professional decision, and and honestly, it's been quite a difficult month for me. But it's been made easier by the contacts and the friends that I've made from FIU College of Law. All of us attended that school here on the Sports Goofs. We all have lots of memories of playing foosball and not listening to a certain torts professor, even though we know that there's a suckle and that there's love at the middle of it. That's for sure. And there's love at the middle of FIU College of Law, and I never got to get on top of the roof, but maybe one day I will. If I ever become a professor or something like that, maybe I can get on top of that roof and throw a chair off of it. Anyways, I've had a difficult month, but friends, including you guys, have supported me over this month in my transition to whatever my next chapter is in my professional career. But I want to thank the FIU College of Law. I took that tour, and who knew that tour that I took way back in the spring of 2014 would springboard me to shilling a Astro Gaming A40TR headset online with a couple of my buddies here. So thank you, FIU College of Law, for the contacts and the friends and their staff and all the great people that I've known since I went there. And if you guys are ever looking to go to law school, don't do it. Just don't do it.
But if you do, go to FIU. Hey, that rhymes.
Okay. Promo code Scotty Norbs.
Nice.
Excuse me.
Okay,
Andrew.
You
have a second
funny.
one.
You unintentionally segued me into my non-sponsor.
Okay. All right.
Jeez Louise. Sorry. Like 30 seconds after the Lightning scored a goal, the Devils came back and tied the game. Sorry. Anyway, my non-sponsor is the first Sports Goofs cave.
Ah, yes, the Goof's Nest. Yes.
The Goof's Nest. For reasons I'll let Francisco decide if he wants to discuss them. We have lost
the internet that we were able to stream this. Yeah.
We have lost, or we will no longer be at the Sports Goose Cave, which is unfortunate because I liked it. We got to spread out, and it has, memories or whatever you want to call it. But we shall no longer. We can rebuild it. We shall no longer spend time there.
Yeah.
So I'm pouring one out for my for the Sports Goofs Cave.
Okay.
Promo code where it all started.
Oh.
Well, that's actually not true because it all started in our separate homes.
Yeah.
But still, promo code where it all started.
All right, guys. So those are our non-sponsors. Trey Turner, the original Goof's Nest. What was yours, Charles? Spooky season? Just spooky season in general?
I said spooktacular.
Spooktacular. Okay.
I guess Halloween for itself.
Halloween. All right.
Halloween, and then that was promo code.
Okay. FIU College of Law. So that's it, guys. That's so we've reached the halfway point of the show. Let's take a look at the rundown. We are in the second inning of the World Series. Nothing has happened just yet, so we're still waiting on some action there. We have NHL action now, as Andrew has already stated. The Lightning are currently playing against the New Jersey the struggling New Jersey Devils to start the season. It's 3-3 right now. The Edmonton Oilers are winning 2-0 against the Blue Jackets out in Columbus. And the Wild and Blues are still at 0-0 out in St. Louis, and then we still got two more games. One out in Phoenix, or actually Glendale, between the Coyotes and the Habs. And then the Canucks and the LA Kings out in Staples Center. And then the NBA, since we have basketball action, and oh gosh darn it, man, it felt good to have Jimmy Butler out there yesterday for the Miami Heat. Oh, I am so excited. But for today, the Bulls and the Cavs, 53-50 right now in the third quarter as it's starting up. The New York Knicks are losing to the Orlando Magic out in Amway Center, 51-44. The 76ers are spanking the Minnesota Timberwolves, 72-51. The Milwaukee Bucks are spanking the Boston Celtics, 42-25. The Pacers and and the Pacers and the Brooklyn Nets are 45-41 right now out in Barclays. The Raptors, 56-50 against the Pistons in Canada. And the Rockets are up 17-7 against the Wizards. And let's see, the Blazers are 14-11 versus the OKC Thunder. And there's the night games tonight out in the West Coast. The Jazz versus the Clippers in Utah. The Kings and the Hornets out in Sacktown. And finally, once again, San Francisco, we have the Warriors against the Suns. Okay, so I guess I want to get to the big announcement from the NCAA. Andrew, do you want to say what happened?
Sure, and I didn't read as much into it as I would have wanted to. But the NCAA announced today that they are going to make paying players legal under their rules. That's a bit simplistic. It opens up an avenue for players to be paid for their likeness, for the use of their likeness and image. This was inevitable. Tons of states have either passed, are in the middle of creating, or are considering bills that would make it legal for players to be paid for their likeness or image. It's called NIL, name, image, likeness.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay.
You probably read about as much into it as you should have, judging by the absolutely bizarre takes I've seen on sports Reddit. Tell us what some of these bizarre takes are. I'm curious. But anyway, this was inevitable. If the NCAA didn't do this, they were going to go defunct in 10 years. The writing was on the wall. It all started really with the Ed O'Bannon lawsuit probably about 10 years ago, maybe a little bit less. And it really kind of shook up the whole system, because players were amateurs, which meant their only compensation was a scholarship, basically. So this changes a lot of things. That being said, a lot of people... No. Yeah, so I read enough into it. No, the schools, at least under this, they're not going to pay the players directly. And honestly, knowing the NCAA, they are going to find some way to weasel out of this, or create some loophole where the players are not going to get paid much. And the announcement today was very, very vague. Very vague. Which is exactly, if anything, the NCAA are shrewd business people. So they know to say just enough to get people excited, but not commit themselves to any particular course of action. Mm-hmm. So I think this is ultimately going to be a very minor concession, but it may not end up changing that much.
From what I'm reading here, the NCAA wants the new rules in place no later than January of 2021, but legal challenges could lay waste to that time frame, as reported by the Seattle Times here. Um, College athletes have the opportunity to profit from marketing and promotional opportunities. They can sign autographs for cash. They can have their images on a billboard. They can lend their name to a sports camp, if you will. But that really, it's going to start breaking down when I guess maybe the different conferences might have different rules in and of themselves within this. I don't know how.
And that's the other thing. The NCAA, if I read it correctly, and BU, you can correct me if I'm wrong, the NCAA is, at least in its announcement, is almost leaving this up to the individual schools to enforce and to set rules.
And that could possibly a recruiting tool.
It already is. University of Georgia, on their Twitter, I forget what they said exactly, but they kind of implied that going there would help, raise their stature in the sport. And, as much as I love players being able to get have their name, get paid for their name, image, likeness, which is somewhat bizarre because it resolves exactly. The problem is, that's going to hurt the group of 5 teams a lot more because, already those are at severe disadvantage. Those schools are at a severe disadvantage because they don't get a lot of money compared to the Power 5 schools. I agree, BU. That's probably what they're going to do. They're just going to set a baseline and then let the schools and conferences do what they want. They want as little to do with this as possible. I mean, it took them this long just to concede, and it's only because of these lawsuits coming around. It's going to be it is inevitably going to be used as a recruiting tool because players from Power 5 schools are more known nationally.
Right. Now, I could see it as, it depends on where your school is located as well. I could see, like, this is another example, I guess, but I guess a Power 5 school, like a school like Syracuse, which is big in New York City. I mean, could you imagine just being a kid out of, I don't know, somewhere in the middle of Texas or Florida or something like that, and he's got his likeness billboards in New York City, just advertising Syracuse football. I don't know, man. That's a huge recruiting tool right there. That it could allow a school that doesn't have as prestigious of a history to move forward. So that could be a thing, but I think it's more the fear that you're saying, especially since you're a alum of a group of 5 school or something like that, it's just going to give the Alabamas, the USCs, the Ohio States of the world more fuel to take all the best players out there.
And the other thing is, this will also inevitably favor football and basketball players because there isn't a lot of notoriety in the so-called Olympic sports, which is everything else. I don't see, gymnasts getting paid a lot for their name, image, likeness. Baseball players, really not. Rowing. So
it's basically just football and basketball, really.
Right. It's going to be disproportionately benefiting those 2 sports. So they've got to find some way to make this, in my opinion, they need to find some way to make this more equitable for all sports. Yeah, exactly. Like baseball, I think, will probably be the 3rd place just because you have the College World Series.
And it could depend on the school as well, because some schools are known as a baseball school. Some are just a basketball school, like a Duke or North Carolina.
Or like in BU's case, Boston University,
It's a hockey
they
school.
really only care about one sport as far as I know, and that's hockey. And they have a lot of big players coming through there. So that's going to be the predominant moneymaker for those sorts of schools. So we'll see how it works. I'm sure. I'm hoping that just because the NCAA brought this forward, that this doesn't stop the states from continuing to press.
No, that should be, and maybe that was their plan as well, to kind of nip the states push. Look! Oh no! Here, look, Florida, California. Look, we're
Well,
already
that's of course
doing
what they're
something,
doing. Exactly. But I'm hoping that those states, they don't take the bait, if you will.
Yeah. So this is
because
kind of more of a preemptive measure than anything else.
Right, because if they say, all right, fine, we'll let this go, there's no incentive for them to make any sort of real change. They could even, just change their mind at the last minute and say, you know what, no, we're not going to do it, and there's no real recourse because the states aren't pushing them anymore.
By the way, everybody, it's 1-0 Astros right now.
Yuli Gurriel hit a solo home run to left field, that short porch.
Yep. Okay. Okay. Charles, any thoughts on this?
Yes. The only thing that matters to me, I mean, good for the kids to maybe get some money, but they're going to lose that money because then they're going to have to get some agents and lawyers maybe for a trust fund, but good luck on that. Guys, this means something bigger, because now not only are you going to be able to support the kids when you buy the new NCAA video games, especially NCAA football published by EA, because God knows they'll get that rights back, but you can also play NCAA March Madness, presumably, even NCAA hockey, NCAA baseball, NCAA everything. I had so much fun. Like NCAA football, 2006, 2007, all those schools, Tebowing around, destroying the Gators, would be able to make FIU versus UCF games now legitimate. We can actually stream in high definition, and you can all listen to it with your Astro gaming headset. The future is now, you guys. This is what it's about. This is a great win for casual people who have no monetary incentive in people making money, but we have pleasure incentive, entertainment incentive, and that's what matters to me, to be honest with you.
I mean, that's kind of the hope right now. It gives us, and EA loves their money, so they know that any brand new NCAA college football game it probably would outsell the Madden series for that given year, or at least the first few years, really.
Paid DLC and everything, probably pick it up and try it out. If I can make an online franchise with my boys, buddy, true SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12 dominance here, gonna do it.
And it's a BU's point here that he mentioned that he doubts that it would come to fruition, and really that's kind of like it's this murkiness of this announcement by the NCAA. It's still not concrete, so we don't know, because if there's different rules for different conferences and all that stuff, that's going to be really hard to put together in a sports video game that has, let's say, every FBS program or even the FCS programs all in one video game. Now, who knows if maybe they could get it together, and EA has the money, but also EA has been known to cheap out when they have to. That's why they don't regularly change their series every year. They just kind of give it a little fresh coat of paint and a roster update, and that's it. Exactly. So I mean, it's kind of difficult seeing it from here unless EA really wants to do something, or it doesn't have to be EA. It could be a 2K or something like that. I could see 2K getting out in front of it, and being like, look, we're making NCAA 2K blah, because there used to be NCAA 2K football games as well. Especially if it's like all pro football 2K, everybody, or NFL 2K5, they could get out in front and be like, we are the premier thing. We're going to pay for it. We're going to do this and that and make this NCAA out before EA, or just make it better. We'll spend the money for it. So I could see competition in that sense fueling somebody to make that video game. But right now it's still kind of murky. This thing just came out. We don't know what exactly the NCAA's intentions are. And of course, as Andrew said, maybe and hopefully the individual states will keep pushing for the legislation to allow college athletes to be paid in some sort of way, shape, or form. Okay, so that's it for that topic, guys. Let's see. Since we're on college sports, Andrew, you've been sitting for quite a bit. I don't know if you want to continue with this, and I understand we have some Fred ranks as well to post.
Yes, we do.
Okay,
want to
so
go ahead and start that up?
Yeah, you go. You start it up, and I'll post it up soon enough.
All right. So we are entering, I think, week 11 of the college football season. Very, very upset-heavy week last week. I believe. Let me double check here. Sorry, week 10. We are entering week 10 of the season. There were, let's see. Number 9, Auburn, lost to number 2. Sorry, there was just a really nice catch in left field in the World Series. Sorry.
Yeah.
I've got the Lightning game and the World Series on my computer, so I might get sidetracked. That was a really good catch. So number 9, Auburn, lost to number 2, LSU. Biggest upset of the week. Number 5, Oklahoma, lost to Kansas State.
Yes.
That was huge and sort of controversial. Kansas State was really rocking it. They were the better team in this game by far. I think this is actually the first time that Kansas State had beaten Oklahoma in Manhattan. That's where Kansas State is, Manhattan, Kansas, aka the Little Apple, since I think 1996. So anyway, Oklahoma came back at the last minute and came a half yard short of potentially tying the game with a last minute touchdown. But on the onside kick, which they did recover, there's a rule when it comes to onside kicks that the ball must go 10 yards before the kicking team can touch and recover. The exception being if it hits someone on the receiving team. So sometimes you'll see, there was an instance, I think it was in the Ohio game last week, where the ball was literally kicked off the guy's helmet and was able to be recovered, which is totally legal. You can just blast it off the guy, and if he misses it, if he muffs it, then it's free game. But going back to the OU game, the ball was at the 9.5 yard line, and it hit an OU player in the leg. So it was illegal touching, which is a penalty, and really it just means that the receiving team gets the ball. And that close, but Kansas State held on for the win, essentially ending OU's chances of getting into the playoff. I mean, unless some madness happens the next couple of weeks, they're not going to get into the playoffs. Another upset was 19 Michigan beating number 8 Notre Dame. they got bludgeoned to death, 49-14. That was not even close.
I mean, you popped in on the watch stream the other day, and I was saying that it exposed Notre Dame for the frauds that they are, and of course you've had issue with Notre Dame being ranked so high for so long just by virtue of their history and reputation from the past, not really what they are in the present.
Yeah, it's, I hear all the time, these voters saying, we only base our votes, especially when it comes to the preseason, because that sets the stage for everyone's ranking. They say, we don't base it on previous seasons, we do it on a season-to-season basis, but no, Notre Dame, their reputation is based solely on their past. They are not as good as people make them out to be right now. Hold on 1 second, guys. Keep going.
Okay. Well, in any case, yeah, Notre Dame has been. I mean, and really, they've had this. Yeah, they've been frauds. They've had their
not even in the conference.
Well, yeah, and they've had this arrangement now with the ACC where they face all the ACC schools for the most part nowadays. But once again, the ACC hasn't, outside of Clemson, the last few years has not been that strong. And as a Seminoles fan, and you, Charles, as a Hurricanes fan, and it's also Canes Seminoles week, BT Dubs.
Yep, I'm back, by the way. I'm not sure if you guys heard that screaming, but that's my dog who occasionally gets lonely when she doesn't see anyone.
Oh, okay. Well,
so
anyways,
we have special guest Luna with us right now.
Yes. So
Hi, Luna.
We were saying how Notre Dame really, I mean, they might as well just be classified as an ACC school because of that arrangement that they have with the ACC right now. And as we know, ACC's strength of schedule as a conference, they're not that great outside of Clemson, And Wake Forest who's had a good season so far as of now.
Pretty much any ranking system right now has, on the average, the American Athletic Conference as a better conference than the ACC.
Right. And, I mean, just the way it is. So Notre Dame should not even be there. They might as well just be considered an ACC school and not either stay there at 16 or what have you. I mean, that's probably where they belong. And they did, as far as I see in the top 25, they dropped the most. Here, they dropped all the way to 8th. So.
Well, the reason why they won't
they dropped
join,
8 spots. They dropped to 16, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
The only reason they won't join a conference anytime soon is because they have a very lucrative deal with NBC.
Right.
Who broadcasts all of their home games, with some exceptions. Sometimes they'll be... sometimes ESPN will get in there, but lucrative-ish.
I mean, they have an exclusivity deal, so.
Right. So they're not going to give that up anytime soon, but they also did see the writing on the wall a few years ago when they decided to... Oh, really?
Wow. Huh. That's a nice little tidbit there by BU that the Irish make less with the NBC deal than they would in the ACC rights deal.
So in that case, I really have no idea why they wouldn't join the ACC full time.
I don't know.
My guess is in that case, it might have to do with strength of schedule because they can play much tougher teams throughout the season than they could. Notre Dame has a lot of rivalries. Like, they've got Michigan, they've got USC, Navy. That's part of the reason why Navy was independent for so long until 2014, because they have the president's or the commander-in-chief trophy every year, where they have 2 non-conference games. They've got Army, who's still independent, and then you've got Air Force, which is in the Mountain West. Teams in the AAC, they get 4 non-conference games. So just like that, they've lost 2 of their games. So same thing with Notre Dame. They would lose potentially 2 non-conference games, although they're not going to be playing Michigan again for 14 years. I think 2033 is the next time they're going to be playing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's Notre Dame. They are an independent school, but everyone treats them like a Power 5 school, which I think is ridiculous. And they really, not right now, they don't deserve to be there. If the ACC, and the thing is, they are an ACC school in literally every other sport. They might be like a sport or two that might be in a. That's not true. They are in the Big Ten for hockey. I got you before you had to correct me, BU. But they are an ACC member with some exceptions. So like basketball, baseball, all of their other sports, they are in the ACC. And they play football and hockey. Oh, well, there we go. Right, the ACC doesn't sponsor it. I think I speak for a lot of people when I say I don't think they should be independent, or at least get the preferential treatment that they do, despite being an independent. They don't deserve it.
Yeah. Okay, so that's our trashing of Notre Dame.
Do you want me to do a quick rundown of our teams?
Sure, man. I mean, me and Charles had mentioned that the Seminoles and the Canes play this week.
Correct.
Ooh.
And it's actually been taken off of prime time. So, we both suck just enough for us to not be in the national spotlight. And we shouldn't be. We are hideous. We are hideous individuals, and nobody should see that football game.
Okay.
Kind of reminds me of that episode of SpongeBob when he had bad breath, but he thought he was ugly.
Mm-hmm. He gave me the ugly. Let's start with the FAU Owls, Florida Atlantic University, which is the alma mater of Francisco and I believe Charles as well.
40 alma maters.
Correct.
They are currently tied for second place in the East Division of Conference USA. They are tied with Marshall. However, FAU lost to Marshall a couple of weeks ago, which means in the event that they are tied, Marshall gets the tiebreaker. But they are not in the lead. Neither team is. That goes to Western Kentucky, WKU. They are currently 4-1 in conference. The others are 3-1. So they have the other teams, Marshall, FAU, have a game in hand, as it were. Actually, Western Kentucky is one of 2 teams that has played 5 games so far in conference. So a lot of other teams have a good chance to catch up.
Okay.
This week they are playing Western Kentucky.
Hey now.
In Bowling Green, Kentucky, which they are in Bowling Green, and there's no relation to the school called Bowling Green.
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, so that covers FAU, FIU, where I will be covering their game against Old Dominion this week for Reddit CFB.
Nice.
They are the other team that has played 5 conference games. They are currently sitting at 2-3. They got the crap beat out of them this past week against Middle Tennessee. What was the score? It was not pretty. That is true, yeah. Hence the confusion. Bowling Green,
Is it like on the border of a state?
I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Bowling Green, the school is located in Ohio, I think. And then Western Kentucky is in Bowling Green, Kentucky.
I'll look it up right now.
So anyway, FIU played Middle Tennessee this past week in Murfreesboro. Yay! I'm right.
You got it.
In Murfreesboro, Tennessee, and they lost 50-17. Bad loss. And that comes after a 3-game win streak. They had pretty good success. But we'll see if they can turn things around this week against Old Dominion over here in Miami at the Cage, Ricardo Silva Stadium. Moving on to my undergraduate alma mater, UCF. Bit of a down year, relatively speaking, compared to the past couple of years. We've lost twice. We lost 35-34 to Pitt, courtesy of the freaking Philly Special. And the problem is, I saw it coming.
It's like you're watching a train wreck and you wish you could help.
Slow motion.
Exactly.
I was like, I saw the quarterback go up into audible, and I said to myself,
no.
In the split second before that happened, I said, he's going to do the Philly Special. And
it's
sure
like
enough...
the Halloween theme. It's like watching a horror film, and he's like,
exactly.
Don't open the door.
And then you were with me for this one, Francisco. We lost to Cincinnati a couple of weeks ago, 27-24, which ended a couple of streaks. One was an in-conference win streak dating back to 2017, and then it also ended a streak of scoring 30 or more points, which is actually a college football record dating back to 1936 when the AP poll began.
Wow.
So, and we've cleared it by quite a large margin, so I don't see that record being broken anytime soon. But it was just not a good game. Since then, we've gotten back on track. We've won 41-28 against ECU for homecoming, and then this past week against Temple in Philly, won 63-21. So this week we're facing Houston in our annual space game, and if you want to pull up the uniforms, they are gorgeous.
I'll pull it up real soon. Give me a second.
They're absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, they are very pretty uniforms, and I'm not just saying that because I'm a UCF fan. They're universally loved, even Gator fans.
I get what I see what you did there. Universally loved space theme.
Actually, that wasn't intentional at all.
Oh gosh. Okay.
But,
all right.
Hey, I'll take it. But yeah, I don't think I've seen a negative comment on the uniforms, and they have a very special meaning this year, it being the 50th anniversary of the moon landing. So they have a reference to that in the uniform, and it also marks the return of Citronaut.
Okay, so
for those who don't know, the Citronaut was UCF's unofficial mascot back when the school began in 1968. It is, in essence, if you were to combine whatever the alien is from the Jetsons with an orange, you get Citronaut. He will not be UCF's main mascot anytime soon or ever. But he does make a regular appearance, usually one game a season for each of the major teams. And it kind of has become almost sort of an unofficial mascot for the school. And he is beloved now.
Yeah, there he is on screen. Okay.
I am thinking of You're right. You're right. It's some cartoon from Hanna-Barbera. I'm not on my games tonight. If you combine the Great Gazoo from the Flintstones with an orange, you get Citronaut.
Okay.
So anyway, yes, that is Citronaut, unofficial mascot for UCF. Now, I know I've been long-winded. I apologize. I'll speed things up a little bit. The biggest story, arguably, this season is the resurgence of SMU.
Right.
For those who don't know, SMU is the one and only school that has been given the death penalty by the NCAA, which is for, I think, 1 or 2 seasons, they were not permitted to play. They lost 2 seasons completely. And it completely decimated the program. And they never really returned to their former prominence, where they were...
There's an ESPN 30 for 30 about it.
Yep, if anyone wants to read more about it, there's an ESPN 30 for 30 called Pony XS that sort of chronicles the rise and fall. And it's ironic because the whole situation came about because they were paying players. So now this resurgence comes at the same time that we are now talking once again about players being paid.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very fascinating. Anyway, to show how bad SMU has been recently, so they returned to football in 1989. Since then, they have gone at or above 500 7 times.
Yikes. That's a lot of mediocrity.
This is the eighth year that they've been at or above 500, and this is the most wins they've had in a season since 1984, which was pre-death penalty.
Yeah.
So this is I scratched that. I apologize. They went 8-5 in 2009 and 2011. So this is the 3rd season that they've had 8 wins. And so this is momentous for them. And they have a big game coming this week against Memphis, who is also in the running for the Western Division championship if they can beat SMU.
Mm-hmm.
They are getting College Game Day this week out in Memphis.
Wow.
So it's a big game for both teams, and we'll see how it turns out for them. That's really sort of a quick rundown of the major stories in college football.
Okay. All right.
BU, do you want to... I can riff for a little bit, but do you want to give us a quick rundown of the hockey season so far? And I know you have a lot of wonderful things to say about the officiating out in your conference, Hockey East.
Let's see. So, let's see. College. I haven't even been following myself, to be honest. Let's see. I'm looking at NCAA.com.
It's been pure chaos.
Let's see. College top 20 rankings right now. Schedule. Okay, let's see. We got this Friday. So number 1 is Denver. Number 2 is Minnesota State. DU and Minnesota State at 1 and 2 are all anyone can agree with. Okay, that's what I just mentioned. And then the rest is just chaos from there. Everyone else has been taking stupid-ass losses, and there's been so many nonsensical results. Kind of... Okay. I mean, it's hockey, right? It's the first month of hockey. We're still getting some weird stuff happening. Duluth has had some really bad losses. Yeah, I wish NCAA had a better website for this. Or maybe it's just their mobile site on my phone that looks kind of bad for for scheduling, all that stuff. BC fans are pissed that they aren't being ranked higher, even though BC's only good win is an inconsistent Wisconsin. So Boston College
themselves had an 11-5 game.
They're ranked 15th, and they're facing New Hampshire on Friday.
BU, tell us a little bit more about the officiating in Hockey
Providence
East.
has looked good mostly, but they also lost to Holy Cross, was very not good. I like that. I like that sentence. Very not good.
We'll end with Hockey East because, oh my God.
OMG.
And then we'll end with this because I want to hear what Charles has to say about WWE in general.
I wanted to have a discussion with him as well because there's some video game news I want to talk to him about as well. Just a bunch of missed or truly bizarre calls. Sounds like Game 5 of the World Series, which everybody had a problem with the umpire.
I think BU compared them to the refs in Pac-12 football, which is... that's high praise, if you want to call it that.
As an example, from last week, UNH versus BU. UNH was screwed out of a goal because the refs blew the whistle too early. Everybody hates that. I mean, they blew the whistle too early because screwed out of a goal. Whether the goalie cover up, or even though I could tell from my seat that the puck hadn't gone in on the first shot.
And you said you were, what, like 30, I remember 30 feet away.
30 feet. I mean, did the goal light go off or something? Nope, hit the post. Oh, okay.
Oh, well.
Gosh. Rebound
That'll be fun
in,
to see how that turns out.
Okay. Clearly no goal. Gosh. All right. Because it was based on the first goal. Oh, I see. Okay. All right, guys.
Goal.
Okay. So, I wish I had highlights of it. Next time I'll try and focus on it and put at least a YouTube video of a highlights or something from. I'm sure somebody has a channel focused on college hockey, and maybe you even know somebody who's got a channel like that. Kind of like the hockey guy on NHL that breaks it down every week. I like watching him on YouTube if nobody's seen him. Okay. That's just YouTubers. All right. So, Charles, we're going to set you loose, dude. This is your cage where you talk about wrestling, and I actually want to talk to you about something that has to do with wrestling.
Look at that. Everything, as I tell people, revolves around wrestling. We just don't know it. All right. Ready to go? Welcome, everybody, to another weekly Drew Select of the Cage with Charles. As I always say before I preface everything else, wrestling is not fake. It is scripted. It is a dance. It usually consists of many songs and many ballads from many different kinds of people, boys and girls alike, tag teams, triple threats, whatever you have. It might be about a love of a woman, a love of a man, championship title reigns, blood feuds. Now, we're ever growing. We're basically being like the Brady Bunch, or if you're a Harry Potter nerd, Mrs. Weasley and Mr. Weasley's family. There's more little love to give around in the wrestling organizations. We got a little bit of the WWE. We got a little bit of the AEW. We got some New Japan. But what matters to me is the news of the week. Bruh, it's been kind of crazy in WWE land. And I've been keeping up to what's going on in the AEW world. And I'm not kind of happy on them. Feel some hypocrisy on that. We'll talk about that too. But hit you straight up, Francisco. I know what you're going to ask me.
Yes.
Charles, do you play WWE video games? I do. Currently in the background of my home, I'm playing WWE 2K18 on their universe mode because I like creating stuff. I need video games that's kind of mindless that doesn't draw all my attention so I can do the show. But I don't want to be looking in my sad reflection, seeing the little goblin that's just in his white tee with the TV off. So I put a little bit of that background. And I know what you're saying, Charles, are you going to pick up WWE 2K20 or your awesome new Astro headset TR840? I go, no, Francisco, I am not. Not for the headset. Go get it. It's really cool, comfortable, durable, high quality. I can't get WWE 2K20 because it is a broken mess. Just
oh
like my
my
life.
God.
It is just not good. It is glitchy. It is backwards. What happened was Ukes left, so Visual Concepts had to take this baby, and boy, you think all they had to do is just copy and paste an engine, because that's what most sports entertainment or most... Oh, I'm seeing the background. You can't see John Cena. Or most anything does.
I'm going to post all the glitches while you're talking about this on Twitter.
Oh, there's many that we can talk about. And look, I look forward to it because I don't buy sports games or WWE games every year. I kind of really go every 2 to 3 years. And the reason why I do is because servers get shut down, so I can't create a certain wrestlers, or they add in the new wrestlers to the roster authentic. I get it on Black Friday. The games usually come out in October, so I can get it in November for like $25. That's a fair price to Charles. Consider the fact that I usually play calendar year to calendar year on the universe. This is just terrible.
This
terrible.
is great.
Yeah, this is what you get for basketball devs working on a wrestling game. I've heard,
Oh, there's a lot of reasons why this is awful.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is unplayable when this exists. Kingdom Hearts 3 is playable. I like that game. I don't care what anyone says. This is glitchy as hell. So it started a movement. Hashtag fix WWE. WWE 2K20. And here's the thing I feel bad for. There are people who actually pay $60 for this off the bat. You can expect, amongst those gamers, you can expect when you have a yearly franchise, whether it be your sports or your Call of Duties, Modern Warfare just came out, I'm probably not going to buy it, but there's always that person, that there's going to be the glitches that come in. That's today's day and age. That's why we see the big old day one patch. That's not just 3 gigs. It's like 35 gigs of like, we're sorry.
Oh, this already sounds like Sonic Boom.
Oh, it muy bad. It muy bad. You see, I skipped on Fallout 76. I was hoping, but I didn't.
They got some really bad news coming too. To Fallout 76, Bethesda just made a horrible announcement, but that's outside of the wrestling scope. Sorry.
We just can't win. Well, Fallout can wrestle with the money that they lose and the few people who are dedicated to them. But the game's an absolute mess. Do not buy it. I will not buy it. Maybe I'll get 2K 2021. I got enough games in my backlog. Luigi's Mansion 3 comes out tomorrow. I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go wrestle some spooky ghosts during spooky seasons with the least loved Mario brother. Remember, she called Mario's mama and Luigi's mama called him originally Mario clone before she gave him Luigi because she was just upset that he's around. That's what I'm gonna play at. In other news, aside from the glitches, just to actually talk about wrestling, there's some sweet-ass controversy going on with that shirt that I sent you guys. And I'm not going to use this as a platform of whether or not it's good or it's bad or racist or anything like that. Just a small, skinny Jordan Miles had a shirt design. It kind of looks like the Black Sambo doll. You guys Google it to make a determination of what you feel is wrong. I think it's 50-50. Blame on everybody. Who the hell who designed the shirt didn't think it was racist or culturally insensitive? And what do you do, Jordan Miles, just going off like that when there's allegations that you approved of it, or even that, but could you not just, actually done it as a professional as opposed to try to get a movement for your push? I don't know. I'm not going to touch that topic, but what I will say is this. It brings back a relevant line that even though it is sports entertainment, you could still have real cultural issues. Because, bro, how do you deal with that knowing, because here's the difference, right? Like any other sport industry, like the Antonio Browns or even the Colin Kaepernicks of the world, the show must go on. But how are you going to handle it? Are you going to address it? Are you going to do whatever? We don't know. How is Vince going to do it? Is he going to do the prototypical, I'm not racist, so I'm going to put a title on somebody who's not a white color? I don't know. It makes it very uncomfortable to be a WWE employee and hire out. Why? Because AEW is sitting there like, hey, we would never have done any of this stuff. Come watch our pay-per-view. Come watch our show. So it's interesting because the idea is that companies make boneheaded decisions. But the way that it has been brought, because, Twitter is a beautiful thing. Aside from being a platform of opinions and all that stuff, Twitter is beautiful for the petty. So I'm going to segue to my next part about WWE. A lot of people hate that Rusev, Bobby Lashley, Lana, weird cuckold storyline. I absolutely love it. Because here's the thing about wrestling, guys. Aside from it being a ballet, a dance of two people putting on the perfect precision, it is also filthy soap opera. So apparently, I kid you not, Lana came out talking to Rusev and his fantastic mustache about, hey, why is it that you're cheating on me here? She's like, it's because you're a sex addict, Rusev. And he became the most over babyface in all of wrestling. Because what he said, because if you bring up Lana, she's a very beautiful woman, but what he says is goes up there and says this, well, can you blame me? Deadpan says it on the mic. She goes, Rusev, you're a sex addict. He goes, well, can you blame me? I'm like, oh my God. We need to change his nickname now. He needs to go circa Val Venus Attitude Era. No longer is he the Bulgarian Brute. To quote my friend Derek, he's the Bulgarian Bulge. We got to do it. Commit to it. He will be the most over babyface. The man's mustache just says it all as it is. I am all in. All in. What I'm not all in on, you guys? AEW's match stipulation for their Full Gear pay-per-view, All Elite Wrestling. You know, the thing that's supposed to be different. The thing that says we're not like the other shows. The thing that says win-loss matters. Well, they just announced, as I was watching the show and then streaming, our show, I was trying to vomit on air. The Jon Moxley, a.k.a. Dean Ambrose, versus Kenny Omega match. The real big money match. I don't care about Cody Rhodes and Jericho, because all intents and purposes, Jericho's got to win it. I love what he's doing. But I want to see who's going to come out of that. Two guys who haven't gone against each other. They said, Tony Khan, killing me here, says that it's going to be a lights-out match, and the win-loss isn't going to count for this. What the hell does that mean? What do you mean lights-out match? They're going to wrestle in the dark? But even furthermore, you're already taking away the win-loss record concept? You're already taking away the win-loss record concept on something that's so vital? Is it because you want to protect both guys? Because the idea is that, like in the boxing world, you win, you get title shots. You don't want to put over Dean, or Jon Moxley, who is in theory a complex heel, over Kenny, who has suffered enough losses. I don't know. I don't like it. That's a cheap payout. I wasn't buying your pay-per-view anyway. I was going to wait till it was done and just watch the YouTube highlights like I do because on WWE Network, I don't like to see it. But it's just a dumb idea, and no one's happy with that. I don't know. I'm not crazy about it. That's why I'm going to say to wrestling, you guys. I got a little bit of the touch of the racism. I got a little bit of touch of the dirty soap opera. And I got a lot of disappointment for a match that is probably going to be high quality with a dumb stipulation. Vince McMahon ruined things, but now it looks like Tony Khan and the Young Bucks and Cody Rhodes are kind of ruined things too. But what I am excited for, Orange Cassidy, who I love, who's a slow dynamic. Looks like Ryan Gosling, in my opinion. Be on my TV more. Watch wrestling, you guys. It's fun.
So, and apparently there's a lot of video game themes today, and there's Wednesday Night Dynamite today, right? Or it's going on right now?
Yes, and okay. NXT.
Yes. So, all right. So, one of the things I was listening to another podcast, CU podcast, and they were saying that, the whole WWE 2K20 controversy right now is because I think it was Jukes was the company that used to make it in tandem with Visual Concepts, and really they're just building on top of it's probably like a 15-year-old engine at this point. They're just always putting a fresh coat of paint every year now, trying to make this a yearly series. Before it wasn't a yearly series, the WWE games. The concept of what they were talking about was the concept that that an AEW video game could provide the outlet for all these disgruntled fans. And I'm just wondering, would you like to see an AEW exclusive video game? Because it might very much pull WWE video games out of the doldrums and actually have good current gen or next gen wrestling games.
I can't agree with that, and for the reason why it's very simple. It's the rosters. You want to play in your own imagination. Imagine if you were kids, man. You buy the toys. You have your own Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock. Well, I'm a 30-year-old man, and damn it, I'm playing with the virtual toys. And if I'm doing Randy Orton versus Braun Strowman because somehow Randy Orton won my Universal Championship, so that's what's going down. So a bad WWE game is not going to make me want to buy the AEW game. It's just not going to make me want to buy their current WWE game. I like AEW as a concept. I think it will get its legs and it will go far. But also, I know where my loyalties lie. It's just AEW is my cool new friend. AEW is my college friend. WWE 2K is going to be, my high school friend. And whoever ends up becoming my law school friend might be New Japan. We'll see. They got to fix a lot of stuff, though. But, it's not going to stop me. If you guys want to buy AEW, that's because you acknowledge the product. But what are you going to do? Play as the same 10 characters that's available to you? The roster's not as broad. It's about creativity. I do the universe mode because I have a plethora of players, or I guess wrestlers and, females as well. Females are wrestlers too. Let's put that out there. I'm not Brand Topman. To create my own stories and titles, things like that. For AEW, I got one title, the main title. I got the tag titles, which haven't been crowned yet, and I got the women's title. And I got probably like 10 actual people who were signed to All Elite Wrestling, and everybody else is just working as a contract or as a talent relations. So it might be cool. It might be fun. Look, back in the day, and I'm going to say it right now, I think everybody can agree with this with me. When I had WCW 64, WCW versus NWO, and then WWF No Mercy, it was fantastic because I enjoyed both. If given a couple of years, AEW actually has a roster investment, maybe I might entertain it, but also I just don't have the time to play 2 wrestling games. So what I'm going to do is that when they actually make a fully functional WWE game, there's the creative player designs that you download. I'm going to download all of the All Elite wrestlers and just play that online and then invite them to my own story. And then we just made a wrestling baby. So it will be All Elite World Wrestling Entertainment. You know you're about that, guys.
Yes. Okay.
And I'll be able to play it with my friends online using that Astro Gaming A40 TR headset.
Thank you, Astro Gaming.
Beautiful.
Yes, and we are well past our 2-hour mark, so thank you guys for joining us. Thank you, BU, for joining us tonight and commenting on our chat page. Thank you to Freddie for providing us the Fred rank for this past week. Thank you to my good buddies Andrew and Charles. Thank you to Trey Turner for giving us tacos. Thank you to FAU College of Law for giving us an education in law. Thank you to Spooktacular Spooky Season Halloween for all the candy and horror movies and horror video games and costumes that we're having tomorrow. We'll see tomorrow. And what was your other one, Andrew? What was your other sponsor? This non-sponsor this week?
The Goof Nest.
And thank you to our old Goof's Nest, which and soon enough we'll have a new Goof's Nest in coming time, and once more, thank you to Astro for their gaming A40 TR headset. Go and get your one of those and listen to us. Listen to Sports Goofs when we put this on Google Podcasts or Apple Podcasts. And thank you everybody for joining us, and I guess we'll see you hopefully next week for number 41, and we'll know who won the World Series by that point.
Have a good night, everyone.
Take care.